This is the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish, founder of Abish Financial Services.
A lot of firms out there say they will do tax planning, say they will do Social Security planning and RMD planning, and typically they just do investment management. They want your money.
You've worked hard your whole life to earn and save. Now you need a plan to make that money work hard for you.
Where do you stand today with your retirement accounts, with your insurance, with Social Security, RMDs, taxes, all of it? This is how we need to think. We need to think outside of the box on these matters.
Abe is here to help you unlock the keys to your retirement.
I haven't been giving you enough kudos that you deserve prepping for this mountain hike that you're getting ready to take on just about 6 weeks from now. Is that right?
Yes, 6 or 7 weeks from now. I'm stoked for it and super nervous at the same time. Basically, I think we talked about this a couple shows ago, but I'm going to be climbing. I don't know why I decided to do this, but I'm going to be climbing the equivalent of Mount Everest, 29,029 feet. Here in the United States, specifically Utah, late August, and you have 36 hours to do it. And so, yes, we're not risking our lives going over to Mount Everest and doing it, which is great. But the fact that I signed up to climb almost 30,000 feet in 36 hours, I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm kind of looking forward to it and super nervous at the same time. So, hey, what the heck? This is what life's all about. It's about challenges and meeting things face on. And, these things personally get me excited.
Yeah.
These big life challenges. So I'm actually really looking forward to it.
Well, it's about growth, right? It's about pushing yourself to
getting out of your comfort zone.
Right,
getting out of your comfort zone.
Right. Absolutely. And
that's where growth happens.
That's what, all the best coaches and teachers in the world say, that the growth happens in the place of discomfort. And
that's right.
The acknowledgement of pushing ourselves and our limits and our boundaries. It's something, whether or not you realize you do it, you do it every single day, living your life here on this planet. All of us have boundaries that we have to push ourselves beyond in order to survive and continue to grow and achieve and move forward in our lives. And thinking about that from a financial perspective, that's such a great way to put it. When I know you've had conversations with folks where they come to you and they are, right? They're just uncomfortable. They're like, I don't want to know, or have I done enough? Am I failing? That's a perfect example of this discomfort, but in order to get to a better place, isn't it?
They have to make a change. In order to get to a better place, they got to make a change. New challenges present new opportunities, new ways of doing things. You've got to make a change if you want things to change for yourself.
Yep.
So,
well, one thing that we have all felt, all of us collectively, I don't care where you are in this world or your age phase of life, we have all felt change collectively over the course of the past couple of years. And the trickle-down effect continues to be a very real factor in our financial lives, Abe. Thinking about where we are with inflation, with the interest rate. It was interesting how Chairman of the Federal Reserve is saying they're going to keep raising interest rates until they believe that inflation is under control, even if that causes a recession. And at the same time, though, Jerome Powell was admitting that they were caught off guard. Here's what he said.
One way to say it would be, I think we now understand better how little we understand about inflation.
That's not very reassuring.
No, but honestly, this was unpredicted. I was looking at our, at the time of our June meeting 1 year ago, of the 35 people who filed with a survey of professional forecasters, 34 of them had inflation below 4% for last year. And of course, it was way above 4%.
Okay. So if these so-called, quote, experts can't predict what's going to happen, then what the heck are the rest of us supposed to do, Abe? Are there defensive steps that we can take with our portfolios or other things that we can control?
Absolutely, Heather. And we talk about this all the time. There are so many things that are out of our control. Who the president is, the war in Europe, inflation, taxes, the market. Man, so many things out of our control, but a lot of things in our control. A couple of those that come to mind immediately in terms of retirement planning. And for those of you getting closer to retirement, for those of you already in retirement, one of the biggest things you can control, Heather, is the risk, the amount of risk you are taking on your investments. Yes, you can control that. You can be extremely proactive around how much risk and standard deviation you're taking in your portfolio. We can't control taxes to a large degree. A lot of it depends on Congress and the president, but we can choose where our monies go and which buckets they go in. Dead money in terms of inflation. If you have a ton of dead money in the bank and sitting on the sidelines because you don't know where to put it, we can take action around that. There is always opportunity no matter what the markets look like, whether they're up and down. And so you can have a little discomfort today, Heather, because let's face it, even good change can be hard, or a lot of discomfort tomorrow if you stay with the status quo and your current plan no longer meets your needs. So we just had a couple call in to the show. They're from Front Royal, out in the Front Royal, Winchester area, and they have about $1.5 million saved. So good job of saving. They are in their early 60s. They're probably 5 to 7 years away from retiring. They want to retire in their late 60s. They are a 7 on our risk scale, so not too hot, but getting closer, a little bit north of middle of the road investors, able to take on a little more risk than maybe your average 60-year-old who's more middle of the road. They did take action and try to control what they could. The reason why they called into the show, several reasons. Their accounts were everywhere. Right. So one of the things we can help people with, just in terms of setting up a retirement plan, is just simply consolidation. And it sounds simple, and it is, but when you've got 5, 10, sometimes more accounts out there, it can become overwhelming and daunting, and you can forget about accounts out there. And then it becomes a lot more difficult to really bring in the reins in terms of how much risk you're taking and really knowing what you own and really knowing what you're invested in and what your plan looks like, if we can do some consolidation. They were taking on too much risk. They knew that. They had no plan. That typical financial junk drawer where when the markets are doing really well, they're super eager to open up their statements. When the markets are down the way they are now, they do not want to look at their statements. And they had no idea where they were headed. This is super typical for the person looking at retirement, 5 years or less, or already retired, believe it or not. They know they've got a pension, maybe no pension, Social Security checks, $1 million, $2 million, $500,000 saved, whatever it is. They have an idea of where they're going, but have really no idea what they might face in the future and how to protect their life savings from all of the risks that can mess up a great savings plan. So what were some of the solutions as we work with them to build a comprehensive, holistic retirement plan, Heather? Number 1, consolidation. 2, reduction of risk. 3, a plan and a path forward. And 4, we offer our clients 90-day quarterly reviews, right? So the plan's got to be maintained. I mean, things can change in the next 90 days. Who knows what's going to happen with this market and when the bottom is going to be and when things are going to turn around and how bad it's going to get before it gets better. And so we can't go a year or two without speaking, right? And we need to make sure our retirement plans are keeping up with our lives.
So want to touch on a couple of the points you were just mentioning in that previous question conversation, Abe, the idea of taxes and things that we can control right now, because we are in a bear stock market. But again, as you point out, there are opportunities that we still have during this time. And Morningstar's Christine Benz is saying that one to consider is a Roth conversion on your pre-tax assets.
The reason why it's advantageous to do a conversion when the market's down is that depresses your balance and that depresses the taxes that you'll owe when you do the conversion. Because the hitch with conversions, as attractive as they seem, is that you will owe taxes on any appreciation in your account or any funds that you've put in on a pre-tax basis. So there will be taxes due on conversions, but generally speaking, if your balance is depressed a little bit, that's a good time to think about doing a conversion.
Everybody's a little bit depressed about our account balances, Christine. Thank you for rubbing that in. Okay.
Look, here's a better way to say that.
Okay.
Look, the markets are down 15 to 20% for most people. People often hear buy low and sell high. That means buy when the market is low, buy at a discount, buy when you think it's a good time to buy, sell when you've made a lot of money, sell when it's high, right? But the fact is, most people don't do that. It's darn near impossible to time the market. It pretty much is impossible.
Right.
You need to stay invested and have a plan for the long term. However, we have spoken to people who, towards the end of 2021 and early into 2022, saw the storm coming that we're in and started to de-risk and get safer with their investments. We did the same. We took action. This is a huge benefit in working with a fiduciary retirement planner. So the main benefit that Christine is trying to get across there is that most people are down in their accounts in the market 15 to 20% right now. And this is a good opportunity to convert at a discount, because when the markets turn around, you're going to see that much more growth on the upside and pay less taxes because you're converting less dollars.
Got it.
That's basically what she's saying.
Okay, got it.
And we agree, but I would also say say conversions are good, right? If it makes sense. Roth conversions are good. We want to address tax planning head on. We don't want to sweep tax planning under the rug. Taxes for most people in retirement are going to be our biggest expense, but we need to run the numbers. So Roth conversions are not perfect. They're not for everybody. If your income's too high, you don't want to be doing Roth conversions probably. But for a lot of people out there, it does make a lot of sense. And we run those numbers for almost everybody that comes in our door, especially for those that are concerned with taxes going up in the future. We just had a couple call into the show and they fit this mold exactly. They are in their 60s, 1.3 million saved. They live here in Florida. All of the 1.3 million, Heather, is pre-taxed, never been taxed before.
Ouch,
a potential ticking tax time bomb.
Yeah.
They are also down about 20% year to date. They've lost several $100,000. So they're concerned with that. They're concerned with their current advisor saying, hey guys, just ride it out. Why? Because the advisor firm has no other options except for stock market options. Ride it out. All of our clients are in the same boat as you. No. That's not what most pre-retirees and retirees need to hear and deserve to hear. They know there is something better out there. So this couple called in and wanted a complimentary comparison and second opinion. One of those things that we added into our second opinion for them, Heather, was a complimentary tax mapping report and analysis because they are concerned about where this country is going. They are concerned about taxes going up on their retirement dollars and how that's going to affect them. So for any of those of you listening right now, if you are also concerned about where taxes will probably go in the future, and that's probably up because we are in $30 trillion of national debt, we'd like to offer you that same complimentary tax mapping report and analysis. It will address tax planning head on and will tell you where you are in the bracket and if you have any room at all to do a strategic Roth conversion and implement strategic tax planning. So if you're 55 years old and older, you're listening right now, you have $500,000 or more saved for your retirement, go to the Contact Us tab at the top of the page. That's retirementkeyradio.com, and we'll start the same conversation with you as well.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish. To learn more about Abish Financial Services, visit retirementkeyradio.com. And join Abe for his radio show, The Retirement Key, Saturdays at 2 p.m. on WMAL.
Investment advisory services offered through Abish Financial Wealth Management, LLC, number 310633, a registered investment advisor firm. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abish is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abish Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abraham Abish Inc., Virginia license number 131017.